Hello and welcome back to Andromeda 6. Today we're gonna continue with the next episode. If you guys missed the previous video, I'm gonna leave a link in the top right corner where you can go and check it out. So, my eyes crack open slowly, one and then the other. Sunlight streams through the woods, bathing the room in its glow, and the gentle caress of it warms my skin and makes me smile. Something has changed within me. The last time I woke up in a strange place, I was scared, lost, and alone. And now I'm none of those things. Shifting in bed, I glance at June beside me. Oh yeah, because we had the Shreks with June last night. I remember him telling me he has trouble sleeping through the night, but last night he didn't seem to have any issues at all. I smile quietly as I watch him sleep. His skin looks golden in the light of day, the white raised scars across his chest a reminder of all he's been through, of all that he's overcome. He stirs softly, his eyes heavy-lidded as they slowly open and find me beside him, those dark grey irises immediately filling with warmth. Oh, and there he is, again with his happy trail and his bangin' bod. He says good morning. His voice is adorably rough, his sandy blonde hair tousled from sleep. It takes all I have not to reach out and run my fingers through the strands. Morning, did you sleep well? Yeah, June looks towards the windows, and as his eyes adjust to the light, he frowns. Some sort of realization seems to come over him. Whoa, what time is it? It's just before 9. He relaxes back against the pillow, running a hand through his hair and unknowingly messing it up even more. I can't believe I slept so long. I'm usually awake before the sun is even up. I trace my fingers across his chest, making a trail from scar to scar and committing every one of them to memory. I'm glad you got a good rest. After last night, I must have needed it, he says. Okay. He smiles at me in a way that sends butterflies scattering through my stomach, memories of last night surfacing like a bubble to the front of my mind. My face flushes with warmth, but I return his smile. Oh, that's my cat over there, hold on. Okay, I'm back. And yes, that is the same cat from this video. I decided to keep her. So, my face flushes with warmth, but I return his smile nonetheless. It was a perfect night. Come here, he says. June opens his arms, and I don't hesitate to shuffle closer and let him wrap them around me. With his fingers beneath my chin, he tilts my face, leaning in to kiss me, his mouth warm and needy against mine. I melt into him, letting our legs tangle through the sheets and our bodies relax together. I hope you guys used protection. His hand cups my face so big I feel its warmth spreading all the way down to my toes. Reluctantly, I pull back from him. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we'll have to continue this later. I have to get up and meet my sister. June nods softly and kisses me one last time. If he's disappointed, he doesn't show it. I should get back to my room anyway. Lizzie's probably wondering where I am. He gets cranky if he doesn't get his breakfast on time. It's already about 2 hours late. What's on the menu today? I was able to pick up some fresh cauliflower. He goes crazy for the stuff. Then for dessert, he'll get a few hibiscus flowers. He lights up when he smiles, and I can tell just how fond he is of his little friend. That'll keep him happy for a few hours at least. He sounds like a lucky boy, we say. Lucky? Maybe. Spoiled? Definitely. I do what I can to keep him happy. He's been the best companion I could ask for. He raises a hand to the side of my face, his smile so tempting I find myself desperate to know what it tastes like. Well, until I met you. Oh, that's cute. His words are all it takes for me to lean over and press a kiss to his mouth, feeling him hum against my lips in approval. I kiss him long and deep, and I hate that I have to stop myself before things go too far. I want them to go too far. You'd better get out of here before I change my mind about letting you go, says the one with the meeting. Reluctantly, I leave June to head for the shower and freshen up for the day, returning to find the bed perfectly made and June dressed up and ready to go. We say our goodbyes, June heading off to tend to Lizzie while I prepare myself to meet Nerissa at the gazebo. I've barely had the time to think about what it is she might want from me, but now that I don't have a June-sized distraction, my mind wanders. She said she needed my help with something important. What could that be? Whatever it is, I hope this is her finally giving me the chance to help in some way. And I hope that the meeting yesterday proved to her that I'm not willing to stand here quietly and do nothing. Alright, I head towards the gazebo in the main part of the lobby. Nerissa isn't here yet, so I find a spot in the shade leaning back against a cool marble beam. The monorail travels by swiftly and silently in the background, transporting residents from one side of the enormous building to the other. I wonder how big these spires are. They look like whole cities. They're so large. And I wonder why they live in spires. Like, maybe to house more residents? Because the planet isn't maybe that large. I don't know. As I wait, a couple of rebel soldiers pass by. They smile when they realize who I am and waste no time in approaching me. We talk for a while, the two of them seeming interested in my journey since leaving Goldis. While I spare most of the details, the story of the explosions on Orion and our subsequent escape from the labs captivates them. Afterwards, I ask them about their time here on Telaran and their work with the rebel army. They speak freely without hesitation. I find it refreshing to talk to others about our ordeal and to learn from a point of view that's not my own. Something about it makes me feel a little more normal. And here is Nerissa. When she appears, they hurry off with a rushed goodbye, returning to their duties. Nerissa offers them a tight smile as they depart before she turns to greet me. Kiki, she says. She takes my hand in hers as she smiles at me, her eyes crinkling at the corners. I'm glad to see you. Me too. She stops suddenly and looks at me peculiarly, cocking her head to the side. You look different today. Did you change something? No, nothing. Nerissa raises an eyebrow as she looks me over, and I try my best to swallow down the nervous lump in my throat. She knows something. It's that gunman from the ship, isn't it? I've noticed the looks you give each other. I hesitate for a moment, wondering if I should admit to it. By the look on her face, she doesn't seem very happy about the prospect. Eventually, I decide there's no point in hiding it. If you must know, then yes, June and I are together. It's weird that we don't have a choice here in order to either keep it from her or share it with her. But I would share either way, because it's not like it affects any of our duties or anything. Like, no, it doesn't at all. So if you must know, then yes, June and I are together. She stays quiet for a moment, and while I try not to show it, my nerves are beginning to spike. I must admit there's something about him that's a bit disconcerting. You won't think so when you get to know him. June is kind and gentle. He loves to watch the stars and spend time with his pet Lizzie. I smile as I think of all of June's qualities and everything that makes him June. He's had a hard life, which is through no fault of his own. But the way he's fought through it all is admirable. I stop suddenly, something in the corners of my mind rearing its head to remind me how my last romance had ended. Oh, with Vex. If you guys don't remember, we chose to romance, or to have had romanced Vex in the past. So shaking it from my thoughts, I sigh quietly. I'll admit that falling for someone, it's a little scary, especially after being hurt by someone I cared about in the past. But June is worth it. I know he is. Something softens on Nerissa's face and she smiles at me affectionately. You light up when you talk about him, did you know that? And not just your skin, something inside you glows at the mere mention of him. My face warms at the compliment. It feels a little strange to be talking about all this with my sister, but I'm glad she seems to be taking it on board. Don't think too harshly of me. It's my job as your sister to worry about you and those who might break your heart. If you and June care about each other as much as you say, then I look forward to getting to know him better. Thank you, Rissa. Coming from you, it means a lot. She smiles at me softly, and some of the worry falls from my shoulders like a cloak. It's nice to see you happy. I've wanted that for you for such a long time. Her face falls suddenly, a look of guilt settling over her features. You were never happy at the palace. I'm sorry I didn't do more to help that. You did what you could, we say. You were busy with your own worries, but I loved spending time together when we got the chance. Me too. Her eyes crinkle when she smiles at me, the violet tones in her irises illuminated by the soft light of the day. I remember the day I first saw them, those strange purple eyes. They aren't natural, of course, but Nerissa has told me she was so sick of being compared to her mother, and this was the one small act of rebellion she could make. Oh, what? Did she get... Are these contacts, or did she get like some special futuristic surgery where you can change your eye color? I don't know. Maybe we can find out later. Who knows? What about you? Are you happy, we ask? That's a complicated question. I'm not sure how to answer it. Maybe once we're finished with Zovack, you could ask me again. Alright, I'll do that. She reaches out to squeeze my hand softly, and it's only now that I'm starting to notice the tiredness on her face, the grief behind her eyes. There's something else I wanted to speak to you about. Thank you for what you said yesterday during the meeting. I'm glad to have you on my side. I meant what I said, but you should know that I'm not interested in taking sides, not when it comes to our allies. She makes a small sound of annoyance, her eyebrows dipping in the middle. Allies? The Cursons don't care about anyone but themselves. How can we call them our allies? Well, they're helping us, aren't they? Obviously they're... Because they came here to help us, exactly. They didn't have to, but they did. Doesn't that mean anything to you? You think they're helping us out of the goodness of their hearts? They're only here because of what we can give them. I stare my sister down, even as her narrowed gaze shoots daggers straight towards me. I don't understand why she's being so stubborn about this. Why are you being like this? Why are you being like this? She yells at us. Be fair, Nerissa. These people are risking their lives for you. We all are. Just because Alyssa and Zane aren't willing to do things the way you want them doesn't mean they don't care about the same things we do. They want to get rid of Zovack just as much as any of us. Nerissa pinches the bridge of her nose, closing her eyes tight against her frustration. You don't understand. We have a choice here. We can say, stop saying that, with an exclamation point, or that's not fair, or I want to understand. I'm gonna say that's not fair. I wasn't brought up the same way you were in the thick of all these politics. But I've learned a few things since leaving Goldis, so don't tell me what I don't understand. I know you think you're trying to help the people of Celiota, but when Alyssa tried telling you what she thinks is best for Cursa, you turned her down flat. Is she not a part of Celiota too? Or Zane? Or the rest of the Cursons? And Nerissa looks quite surprised that we are saying all of this. Did their opinions mean nothing? We ask her. Nerissa says nothing right away, but I don't miss the guilt that slowly creeps onto her face. You think I made a mistake yesterday with Alyssa? Is that it? We have another choice. No, but you could have picked your words more carefully. Yes, you were wrong to turn her down, or it doesn't matter what I think. First of all, I'm not going with the last option because I do think it matters what we think and what we say. We should have a say because Nerissa has decided that we are going to be her heir one day whenever she takes down Zovack and assumes the throne. And then we have a choice to either backtrack on our statement yesterday. We sided with Nerissa when she said that Cursa should not have its own independent rule. So we could say, yes, you were wrong to turn her down. Or we can say, no, but you could have picked your words more carefully. So I'm gonna say no, but you could have picked your words more carefully. And I know you're worried what the Cursons are capable of, and I don't blame you, but antagonizing Alyssa isn't going to make things any better. Nerissa sighs and shakes her head, her long dark hair spilling over her shoulders. Her voice is quiet when she speaks again. You're right, I'm sorry. Sometimes I look at you and I still see the little girl who grew up following me around the palace. But you're not that little girl anymore, are you? I sigh a little as I look past her and out across the shimmering surface of the lake. No, I'm far from it. I don't think I'll ever be that person again, not after everything I've seen. But I'm glad that I finally got to see the world and what was waiting out there for me. Nerissa nods a little as she turns away, trailing her fingers over the smooth marble of the gazebo's pillar. I'm sorry that I haven't treated you as such. I want you to be included in our plans, and I wish the Cursons weren't so difficult to work with. I suppose the stress of it all is getting to me. I wish things were easier. If wishes were fishes, we'd all swim in riches. Remember what Nicole used to say? If wishes were fishes, we'd all swim in riches. Okay. I remember, though, I don't think I've ever really understood it. If only I could be as content with life as she always was. She came from nothing, and still she managed to hypnotize a king with no more than a smile. Yeah, she was pretty special. Nerissa shakes something from her mind, and her shoulders fall with a soft sigh. The truth is, Kiki, that I'm afraid. afraid that everything we've worked for is going to fail like the last time. It's not going to fail, we say, not so long as you put your trust in your allies. Without trust, we have nothing. Placing a hand on her arm, I force her to meet my eyes. Do you trust me? Yes, of course I do, she says. Tell me what's going on. She takes in a deep breath through her nose before letting it out slowly. It's only now that I realize she's trembling. I haven't been coping well since the coup. Her voice cracks, the emotion she keeps hidden so well starting to slip through. I'm the eldest. I was supposed to look after you all, to protect you. Instead, I watched them all die, one by one. And you, Kiki? I presume the worst. She hesitates, and in her eyes I see how hard it is for her to be vulnerable. But for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm finally beginning to see my sister for who she truly is. Nerissa says, after the coup, I felt shattered. For the first time in my life, I was alone. I couldn't sleep, I could barely eat. My body healed, but the memories of that night still haunt me. I was ready to give up. In fact, I think I might have if Kay hadn't talked me out of it. She gives me a sad smile. It seems the two of us owe Kyle much more than I realized. It was only once I learned you were alive that I saw any hope for the future. Nerissa reaches out to me, her hand landing on my arm, her fingers familiarly warm. I'm sorry if I've protected you too much. You're all I have left. I place a hand over hers and give her fingers a reassuring squeeze. I know you're hurting, we say, but you're not alone. You have me. You have Kyle and Kadar. You have Eldred. There are plenty of good people here, and they'll stand with us if you let them. You can get through this, Nerissa. We both can. She nods solemnly, her hand slipping from mine to hang at her side. How did you know I was alive anyway? We did our best to keep it hidden. A small smile creeps onto her lips. Oppo figured it out, and Alyssa managed to get the information out of them. Once she had confirmed it for herself, she passed the information on to Eldred. That doesn't really line up, though. She says she wasn't sure she wants to take over Zovack's rule until she knew we were alive. But she had this rebellion going for a while, even before she knew where we were. It just doesn't. The timeline doesn't really add up there. But I don't know. Maybe it does. Who knows? But to me, it doesn't seem like that's enough time to organize this entire rebellion. From that point where Alyssa knew that we are the princess. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. I gave her a look, trying my best not to seem condescending, but probably failing miserably. There you have it. Alyssa could have kept that information to herself, but she chose not to. Don't you think that's a sign? Nerissa struggles not to roll her eyes, but even she can't deny the truth. I suppose you're right. Of course I am. She lets out a laugh and watches me fondly, and finally I recognize the sister I've always known. The one I used to look up to and idolize. We have a bond that nothing can break, and while I've seen her in a different light since being on Teleran, I'm still willing to stand beside her. The Pegasi name, the name of our family, lives on through us. It was interesting to see you earlier with the soldiers. You know, they don't treat me the same way they treat you. I think they're afraid of me. Silently, I agree. I'm not sure my sister realizes how intimidating she can be. Can you blame them? You've been in the public eye your whole life, learning from our father, a king they hated. They probably didn't even know I existed before I came here. I think you're right, but there is more to it. They look at you like you're one of them. You know how to talk to them, I've seen it. There's no pretense with you, no holding back. She reaches out to take my hand as she smiles at me fondly. That's why I wanted to ask for your help. If I'm going to help you, I need to know what's going on. No sugarcoating the details, no trying to shelter me. Don't keep me in the dark again. Alright, you have my word, Nerissa says. But I have to warn you, it might not be easy to hear. I nod in confirmation, and with a hand I gesture for her to continue. Zovack had been distributing propaganda across the system, spreading lies and instilling fear in the people. He claims to offer them salvation, all while holding a knife to their throats. There's been executions across the planets. He's making an example of those who won't accept his rule. Criminals are rising to power while he pushes good, decent people further down into the dirt. She stops herself suddenly, her teeth clenched as her emotions get the better of her. It makes me sick to think of him sitting where our father sat, sleeping where he slept. We need to let the people of Celiota know that we are alive and that we're fighting for their future. We need them to know that they're not alone. What do you propose we do? We ask. We want to send a message of our own, and we want you to be the voice behind it. I know you care about these people. I saw it during the meeting, how passionately you spoke in Curse's defense. You've made so many friends in such a short amount of time, and the way they speak about you, they love you in a way I've never seen before. I trust you, Kiki, and when the time comes, I trust you'll know what to say. Ooh, and we have another choice. We can say, I want to help, or I feel like I don't have a choice, or we can nod. I guess I want to help and nodding are pretty much the same answer, or at least they both options have the same consequence, I'm assuming. So I'm gonna say I want to help. I knew you would. The others will be happy to hear it. I want to choose what to say though. It won't feel natural if the words aren't my own. Yes, you'll have full control over the script. All I hope is that you'll assure the people that we're here for them. I can do that. She smiles, and for a moment I feel hopeful. It wasn't what I was expecting when she asked me to meet with her, being the voice of a rebellion. I have to admit that I feel intimidated, or excited, or reluctant, or honored, or relieved. Okay. We have, again, another choice here. It is intimidating. It is exciting. I'm not reluctant about it. I am honored, but I'm not relieved. So between honored, excited, and intimidated, I'm gonna say I'm honored. For so long, I've just wanted to be seen and heard. Now it looks like I'll finally get my chance. I turn to my sister to tell her as much, but before I can get the words out, a shiver goes up my spine. Oh? Nerissa stops suddenly, her forehead creased into a frown. A hush goes all over the place, and then a buzz. Something's happening. Wait here. She waves a hand to keep me in place, but I follow her anyway. What's going on? We leave the gazebo quickly and head to the edge of the lake. At the same time, dozens of Telari citizens spill out into the area, gathering with a chorus of chatter and confusion. Someone nearby gasps and points to one of the screens that usually displays the departure times for the monorail, and at once I recognize the symbol that flickers across it. The half-moon sigil of the Chimeri. They've hacked us! They've hacked the planet! Glancing hurriedly around the lobby, I now see that every screen in the vicinity is plastered with it. Nerissa! Pushing my way through the crowd, I catch up to my sister, taking her by the arm and staring at her wildly. Is that? Her face goes hard, her eyes reflecting the screens she can't seem to tear herself away from. It's Zovack. All at once the screens crackle and shift and the new image appears. Oh, is this Zovack? Okay. Wow, I didn't expect him to look like this, but you can see his gills, and we already know that he is Parkit Elfin, so that makes sense. And Zovack says, Citizens of Celiota, for those of you who don't know my face, my name is Jes Zovack. King Jes to be precise, and I have a message for you all. I stare in horror at the man on the screen, something inside me hollowing out at the sight of him. So this is him, Zovack. He's younger than I expected. He doesn't look the way I expected him to either. He has very nice eyebrows, and his hair is nice. He looks good, but he's clearly evil. You can tell by the eyes. It's funny how in my mind I had created this vision of him as a monster, a hideous beast who tears apart families and destroys lives. It feels strange to realize that he's only a man, though that doesn't make him any less dangerous. You may have heard the whispers, rumors of surviving Pegasi who have sought shelter on the most unsociable of all planets, Stellarin. I feel it is my duty to clear up these fabrications. The Pegasi are extinct, and their piteous rule with them. Zovack speaks confidently, his voice softer than I had expected, as though his tone alone would draw people into believing his lies. For decades, we've dealt with Tellarians' malcontent and their unwillingness to aid those in need. One only needs to witness the state of the Kitalfan people to see how both Tellarian and the Pegasi line have failed us all. It's no surprise that Eldred Mihaden champions these imposter Pegasi determined to push these poor puppets onto a throne he can control, pulling their I got a voice crack. Pulling their strings from the safety of his spire. Daggers sliced through my chest as his words rushed through mine. Lies, all of them. The weight of a dozen pairs of eyes prickle my skin, polite as they may be. I ignore the subtle stares and murmurs, my attention stuck to the screens where Zovack gives his viewers a magnetic smile. Put your trust in me, dear citizens. I vow to stamp out these outliers, and together, you and I will create the Celiota we all deserve. Celiota, as it should be. The screens flicker to the Chimera symbol once more before the original images are restored to them, yet the hush still blankets the crowd. We have to find the others. Come with me. Taking me by the arm, she leads me through the crowd and towards the elevator that at the center of the lobby. We sprint inside, Nerissa slamming a button to take us down to ground level in the rebel camp. Zovack is trying to discredit us, isn't he? Yes, he wants to sow doubt among the people to stop us from gaining supporters. Do you think it will work? I think it will work. And she said, yes, it will work. Unless we do something about it. Isn't there a way for us to prove that we are Pegasi? I don't know, maybe a DNA test or something? The elevator delivers us to the camp and I hurry along behind Nerissa as she crosses the platform and flies down the stairs, heading towards a large canvas tent near the center of the enormous space. Together we burst into the tent, finding Kay and Kadar already there. They turn at the sound of us entering. Did you see it? Kadar scoffs, the sound muffled behind the fabric of his mask. I don't think there's a soul in the system who hasn't seen it. It's been broadcasted across all major channels and on all planets, Kyle says. Crap. Nerissa crosses her arms over her chest, shaking her head as she sighs. I see the disappointment on her face as she turns to me to explain. We've kept the networks blocked from the Chimera this entire time, and they finally managed to worm their way through our security. I grimace. That explains why we haven't heard anything from Zovack before today, but this has been a blow to us all. There's no telling how much damage he's done simply by showing his face. I have a feeling this won't be the last we see of Zovack on the big screen. You're right. That bastard will use this to his advantage any way he can, Kyle says. We need to send out a message of our own, Nerissa. Fast. My sister nods in agreement, her mouth twitching into a smile as she moves over to rest a hand on my shoulder. Lucky for us, Chica's agreed to speak for our cause. I was gonna say Kiki, but it kind of feels weird because I wrote it down. Oh, that was my phone, sorry. I wrote it down with like a lowercase, so every time I see it, I'm like, why didn't I enter in like all caps or maybe like uppercase the first letter as names usually are? But whatever. There's a whoop from Kadar as they crowd me, smiling at the news. That's great news. You give us the edge we need to inspire people to our side. Kay gives me an approving nod, and though I can't see his smile, I can feel it. I knew you'd do it, Kyle says. Of course. Couldn't let you have all the fun. He makes a small, amused sound before stepping back and crossing his arms over his chest. We'll need to get a few things organized, but it shouldn't take long before we can get you in front of the camera. I nod slowly, thinking back to how I had felt when Nerissa asked me to step up to the task. I just want to thank you all for choosing me for this, for giving me a chance. I won't let you down. We know you won't. I look into all their faces at the hopeful smiles they bestow upon me, and I know that they're counting on me. Their gazes suddenly move past me towards the entrance to the tent, and the sound of rustling ropes make me turn. That's Eldred, yeah. You saw the message? Yes, though I'm afraid there's more to tell you. Eldred's face turns grim, the news he's come bearing clearly not that of the good variety. While Zovack was broadcasting his announcement, the Chimera breached our internal systems. I'm sorry, what? Not only do they know now the size of our forces, but they've stolen information on our weapons, transports, and technology. Blueprints that could give them the upper hand. Technology that far surpasses anything they possess so far. No. How has this happened? We suspect they had help from the inside, but we need to finish our investigations to know for sure. Eldred sighs quietly, his shoulders slumping with the weight of the possibility. They've taken everything. We cannot allow them the time to put these things into development. Then our time is up. Yeah, we gotta attack them. We gotta let out the message, and then we have to attack them. And go by the plan that we had made. So that was like taking out Ren, and then the doctor, and then Zovack himself. I think that was the plan that we had in place. Also, I wonder if we're gonna get choices for what to say whenever we're doing we're like filming this announcement that we're making, because imagine if we're filming the announcement and then we get choices for what to say and we pick something that's bad, and then it might have consequence on what happens after the announcement and how the people of Seliota react to the announcement. That's gonna be fun, although I think it's maybe it's not gonna happen like that, but I'm just imagining like the possibilities. So Kyle says we need to make a move, catch them off guard before they expect it. Nerissa takes a minute to think it over, clearly composing a plan in her head. We shoot the video tomorrow. Tomorrow? Why tomorrow? Let's do it now. Broadcast it to the system, call as many people to our side as we can. Then we send our advanced tactical units to pave the way for the bulk of our forces. 2 days, we brief them all, get them ready, and then we move. We're ready, we can do this, Kadar says. I hope you're right. Alright. As the others break away, Nerissa turns to me, her face softening slightly. Kiki, you and the A6 crew will be heading to Godus with the advanced units. Are you ready for this? I hesitate. I wish the situation wasn't set to end in battle, but I have the feeling that it's unavoidable. Yes, I'm ready. Good. Make sure you take some time to prepare yourself for what's ahead. Kadar steps over to us, having overheard the conversation. I'd be happy to train with you if you'd like. I've heard you've been training with firearms. I might be able to show you a thing or two. That would be helpful, thank you. Though I can't promise you much, I still have a lot to learn. It will be my pleasure to teach you what I can. Meet me here this afternoon and we can see where you're at. With a nod, I give them an appreciative smile. I've never seen Kadar in action before, but being a leader of this rebellion, I'm sure they'll have much to teach me. I say goodbye before leaving the tent, stopping when I almost collide with the person standing just outside. Oh, sorry, Eldred. Kiki, forgive me. I'm in the way. I give him a smile, but before I can leave, I notice the source of his distraction. Father, Rayona says. She inches towards us, uncertainty shining in her eyes that are almost twin to those of her father's. Their skin color is different. He's slightly more tan than her, I believe. I was hoping I could talk to you, she says. Of course, I would like nothing more. Though perhaps we should speak alone. Rayona twists her fingers as she glances towards me, her discomfort plain to see. I feel a pang of pity in my heart for her. I wish there was something I could do to help. Actually, I'd like her to stay, if she agrees. I'm surprised by her request, but I nod in confirmation. This will be a hard conversation for her, and I want her to know that she has my support. Eldred smiles softly, encouraging me to join them. Together, the three of us find a quiet space to talk. Between the walls of thick canvas tents, Eldred and I turn to Rayona. She takes in a deep breath as her bright eyes fall upon her father. I don't really know where to begin. It's been so long. Eldred inclines his head, giving her time to compose herself. She breathes in again, her words shaky when she speaks next. I suppose I want to start by telling you that I'm sorry I left. I couldn't stay here with a clear conscience while people continued to suffer out in the world. I did what I thought was right. So I'm not sorry that I left, but I'm sorry that I didn't say goodbye. Her voice wavers, but she stands tall, her gaze refusing to falter. It was wrong of me to cut my family off entirely, to ignore the messages sent by Mother and Aithne and Nastasia, who were only trying to make sure I was all right. I wish I could have found a way to handle things differently, but I couldn't see any other way. Eldred sighs deeply, his shoulders sinking and his eyes trailing the ground at the foot of his robes. The state of affairs surrounding your departure are regretful, but it's not you who should be apologizing, Rayona. After you left Ilaran, I'll admit I was angry with you. You've never been much of a rebel. You always left that to your younger sister, so I suppose it caught me off guard. But after a while, I began to understand you more. And when I was made the head of the Council of Eons, I knew at last why you had to leave us. He stops for a moment and looks around at the tents surrounding us, the people moving between stations, a blend of people from all over Celiota. I had always believed that Telari problems were the responsibility of Telaran, while everyone else's was responsible for their own troubles. Becoming a leader made me realize how wrong I was. He shakes his head, his eyes closing for a brief moment. When he opens them again, he looks at his daughter with a kind of tenderness I've never seen from him before. Rayona, everything I've done has been for you, because of you. Bringing the rebels here, giving them a space of their own, supporting the nurse's recovery. I didn't see it before you left. I was too blind to recognize the importance of your words. But my eyes are open now. I see now that helping these people who had little means to help themselves was the right thing to do, that you were right all along. He smiles softly, lifting a hand to push her silver hair back away from her face. I'm so proud of what you've done. When tales of the archangels reached us here on Telaran, more and more people wanted to do something to help. Rayona lets out a small hiccup, tears falling down her face and over her father's hand. When I heard of the archangel's demise, I thought that I sent people to find answers, but when they saw you alive and well, I decided to wait until you were ready to come home. I'm glad I came, Rayona says. I'm glad to be home. With you. Oh, that's sweet. She reconciled with her father. It's all good now. Eldred opens his arms and Rayona steps into his embrace with tears in her eyes and a breath of relief. My daughter, I've missed you more than you could know. And also, Eldred is very well spoken too. Maybe he should do the message that we are supposed to do. I've missed you too, Rayona says. I step off to the side, smiling as I watch them reconnect, a family slowly stitching themselves together at the seams. Now that Rayona and Eldred have made up, I can't wait to meet the rest of their family. I hope I'll get the chance one day. Not wanting to overstay my welcome, I decided now is the moment I should quietly slip away. Kiki, Eldred says. Eldred's voice stops me and I turn to find both him and Rayona watching me. Before you leave, there's something I wish to say to you. He steps forward, his lips pulling into a warm smile as he gives me a nod of approval. You supported my daughter, been a friend to her. I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. It's been my pleasure, we say. She's looked after me too. That doesn't surprise me in the least. They smile at me, Eldred putting an arm around Rayona's shoulders and looking the very picture of a proud father. I'll leave you two to spend some time together. I'm so glad we've had the chance to talk. Thank you, Kiki. We'll talk later, okay? Of course. With a small nod, I leave them knowing all that they have to catch up on. Okay. And then we go back to the gazebo, the famous gazebo. We're always here for some reason. I head up to the elevator to the main lobby, finding myself making my way towards the gazebo that looks out across the lake. This has quickly become my favorite place. Little else can beat the peace I find when I'm alone here. Closing my eyes, I listen to the sounds that surround me. The rustling of the vines, the cascade of the waterfall, the low hum of the monorail. All of it so calm, so serene, until my thoughts drift. Zovack. When I first saw him on that screen, finally seeing the face of the man responsible for the death of my family, my blood turned to ice. Even now, it makes me nauseous to think back on his words. The Pegasi are extinct and their piteous rule with them. I wonder how many citizens of the system believe his lies, and how many more see him for the snake he is. And knowing that he likely had inside help to broadcast his speech is more than a little unnerving. How can we trust anyone with that knowledge? I wonder if one of the people who betrayed us or the most, I wonder if we have met them. For example, if it's Kadar or Alisa or Zane, whatever, or maybe even Kyle, I don't know. I wonder who it is, whether we've met them, Or whether it's just some random ass soldier who just happened to do that. I don't know. My eyes flutter open and I shake my head quickly to dispel the thoughts. I came to the gazebo for some peace and quiet, but my mind seemed to have other plans. Resting my arms on the back of the bench, I look out over the stillness of the lake and sigh. I've been thrown into more danger in the past month than I have throughout my entire life, and even more awaits me in the days to come. Will I ever know peace and quiet again? And maybe more importantly, am I ready to face the answer if it's a no? I let my mind wander, drifting to thoughts of June. Last night with him was so amazing that my cheeks still flush with warmth when I think of it. As I linger beneath the gazebo, I let myself imagine the kind of future we might have together. If I return to Godis with Nerissa, would he be willing to come? I can't exactly imagine him fitting into a royal life, especially not with everything he suffered in the past. But who knows, maybe we could find a way to make things work. All I know is that for us to have any kind of future, Zovack needs to be eliminated. After spending this afternoon with myself, daydreaming of the future and trying my best to relax, I head back to the rebel camp to meet Kadar for training. Alright, time for some training. I find him easily, waiting just outside the tent we've met the others in earlier, and he's not alone. There you are. This is my friend, Tommy DuPont. I've asked him to help us train today. Okay, hello, Tommy. Kadar gestures to their friend, who steps forward and gives me a nod in greeting. I look him over from the bionic plate that edged his face to the katana sheathed at his waist. He looks like a fighter. He looks like he belongs here. It's nice to finally meet you, Kiki. I've heard a lot about you. Good things, I hope? He smiles, and the gesture softens his face somewhat despite the roughness of his deep voice. Very good things, Tommy says. I return his smile, but not before Kadar clears their throat to cut in. So, you've been training in ranged weapons. That's something I think I can help you with. He clasps a hand on his friend's shoulder, his eyes crinkling at the sides. And Tommy here has volunteered to be our training dummy for the afternoon. Volunteered? Don't act like you weren't thrilled to be here, Kadar says. I watch the two of them together, noting their easy banter and sense of comfort. It seems like they've been friends for some time. Alright, follow me. Some of the soldiers have set up a training rink near the doors that we can use. Kadar walks ahead, leaving Tommy and I to follow behind them. As we fall into place beside each other, I sneak a look at my new acquaintance and try to think of something to spark a conversation. So, how do you know Kadar? We've been friends for years. I was in Norsana's guard until recently. He trails off and I get the impression he isn't going to say much more until he notices me looking at him expectantly. My unit used to work with Kadar's group, helping to find homes for displaced Kitalphans. There's a space station hidden among the ruins of Kitalpha called Astra. I was working out of there before coming to Tularan. So you weren't on Godis during the coup? No, I wasn't. There's a pause, and something on Tommy's face shifts before he speaks again. I'm sorry for what happened to your family, he says. I blink at him, taken off guard. It isn't often people offer their condolences, and there's the sort of kindness about Tommy that makes it feel genuine. Thank you. He looks away, and again I think he's finished talking until he sighs himself quietly. I knew your sister, Electra. We were recruits together. I've never seen anyone more dedicated to their training than her. She was top of our class and everything. I'm gonna say either that sounds like her or I wouldn't know, or say nothing. I'm gonna say that sounds like her. Even though we were not close with our siblings, we would still know some things about them, like what they did in their free time. So I'm gonna say that sounds about right. I never saw much of her after she left the palace. She hated coming back. I think of my sister and her wild purple hair. The only time she ever returned to the palace was to see her mother, although it seemed to only make her sad. I suppose it was the reason she kept her distance. I'll admit she didn't have the kindest things to say about life at the palace, but I didn't pry. I'm surprised. Most people would have given anything to hear about it. We were all a bunch of monsters if the rumors are to be believed. I can't talk, honestly. I keep drinking my water, but my mouth is just so dry. Tommy chuckles quietly, the sunlight streaming in from the large hangar doors, reflecting off the plates of his face. I suppose I'm not most people, and you don't look like a monster to me. I thank him with a small smile, though I'm sure there was much worse rumors than that going around. Deciding it's best to change the subject, I ask another question. So, if you were in the guard, you might also know my friends Calderon and Tayame? His blonde hair falls into his eyes as he nods before he casually sweeps it away. I had heard of Calderon before. Everyone in the guard knew of him even before he was arrested. I'm glad to have finally had the chance to meet him. He's a good man. Yeah, he is, we say. And Ayame is a handful. I like her a lot. I've spent some time with both of them here, helping to get in touch with some old comrades. A few have already started to arrive and more are willing to help. That's great news, we say. Do you think it'll help us much? He nods again, his eyes sharp as he looks me over. Every person helps in some way. I suppose you're right. We approach the training area where Kadar has stopped surveying the space before they turn to us. Alright, you two, the ring's occupied, so we have to wait our turn. I sigh, hoping it won't take too long. I'm hoping to spend some time with June today if I get the chance, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Got somewhere better to be, do you? Kadar asks. Kadar interrupts my thoughts with a knowing smile, and my face flushes with heat. Oh no, I was just thinking about something. They chuckle lightly, crossing their arms as they lean back against the stack of crates. If we have to wait, you can at least keep us up to date with the hot gossip. Tommy loves to gossip. If by Tommy you mean Kadar, then yes, that is true. Gossip? I don't think I know any. I shrug at him and Kadar lets out a disappointed sound. Pity. Though I thought you'd be privy to a whole bunch of it. Well, you know what I heard? That Eldred's hair isn't real. He gets new extensions put in every month. What? That's not true. How do you know? Because I know you and I know that you just made that up. Alright, fine. You got anything better? Tommy paces a little as he thinks, his hand stroking the sword at his side. I've heard that they put something in the water here to make people more pleasant. All the soldiers have been talking about it and how the Tillari always seem so happy. Too happy. Don't start with your conspiracy mumbo-jumbo again. There's nothing in the water here except water. Tommy ignores Kadar and turns to me instead, a sly smile curving his full lips. He does have full lips, by the way. Compared to Eldred has no lips whatsoever, but this guy has. What do you think, Kiki? We can either go along with the rumor, yep, there's totally something in the water, or taste like plain old water to me. I'm gonna sort of like playfully go along with the rumor. But it's clearly like a jokey type of thing. It's not like serious. So I'm gonna say, yep. There's totally something in the water. Told you so. Oh, you two are just as bad as each other. Don't let him get to you, Kiki. Soon he'll be telling you how all the Arcanauts are just piles of rats in scaly suits. Have you met my friend Oppo? That would kind of make sense. Right? Kadar shakes his head at us, seeming all too happy to jump into action as the soldiers clear the ring for us. Oh good, looks like we're up. Help yourself to any of the equipment you need before we get started, Kadar says. We head into the training ring together and I look around. The floor is stacked with padded mats and various equipment is neatly placed around the makeshift ring. I have a pair of small blasters that I've been using since I first started training, and after sifting through the equipment around the ring, I pick out some interesting looking combat headgear. That is a tactical visor, an older model, but it looks to be in good condition. Try it out. With Tommy's encouragement, I position the visor around my head. One side has a lens that covers my eye and the other is an earpiece. Push that small button to the side of the lens. I follow his order, pushing the button and hearing a quiet whir as the lens lights up. A red outline appears in my vision, circling Tommy and following him as he moves to the side. The headgear will track your targets when you're out in the field. There's a little switch beneath the button to activate the heat sensor. It's useful, especially in the dark. You can also program your team into the settings so it will identify them as allies. Thanks for the tip, this thing is cool. I play around with the buttons and switches, trying to get an idea of how to use everything. Kadar soon joins us, smiling at both me and my new trinket. Alright, here's the plan. Tommy will act as our practice dummy, and you and I are going to shoot the heck out of him. Tommy clears his throat loudly, giving Kadar a stern look. And perhaps teach her a few things while we're at it? Of course. While Tommy heads off to prepare himself, Kadar turns to face me. Make sure your guns are set to stun. We're going to start with Tommy standing still just to judge where your skill is at. He's just going to stand there while we shoot at him? Don't worry, he'll be fine. Kadar nods across the ring at Tommy, who is now wielding one of the most enormous swords I've ever seen. Kadar pulls out the bow from their back, knocking an arrow and halting as they aim. Guns ready? I pull my blasters from their holsters, ensuring the switches are set to stun, and nod. Ready, aim, fire. I pull the trigger, both guns going off with a sizzle and a bang as the two streams of electricity, as small as bullets, hurtle through the air next to Kadar's arrow. Tommy blocks Kadar's attacks with ease, the arrow clinking off the blade of his sword and clattering to the ground. With a jolt, my shots collide with his sword, leaving tiny scorch marks on the blade and earning a thumbs up from the swordsman soon after. Nice shot. Whoa, you're a natural. Let's see if you can do that again. This time I line up my shot alone, with Kadar giving me some instruction on how to position myself. Place your feet like this and hold your right arm just a little higher. On his cue, I shoot, the small electric bullets blasting from my guns and streaking through the air towards Tommy. I space each shot a mere second apart, forcing Tommy to dodge and block with some effort and earning a proud thumbs up from Kadar. I spend an hour or so shooting at Tommy, learning how to move my body with my weapons and how to narrow down the precision of my aim. Tommy endures my attacks with endless patience, and Kadar is a capable teacher. My confidence grows more and more, and while I'm clearly learning a minimal amount by shooting at a stationary target, I know that my skills are improving. You're doing well, I'm proud of you. But as you know, it's not often that you'll be shooting at a target who isn't shooting back at you. Your headgear will help you out in the field, but I want you to get a grip on shooting without it too. I have a bad feeling about this, we say. Kadar laughs slightly as they hold their bow in both hands and take a few steps across the ring. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Tommy, time to take a break, mon ami. Tommy nods from across the ring and finds a nearby crate to sit on, his enormous sword sheathed and balanced across his lap. I watch Kadar's lithe frame as he takes up a stance on the other side of the ring, drawing his bow and aiming it directly at me. The arrows are blunt, so they won't do any lasting damage if you get hit, but they'll hurt like hell. Hit me first, and I'll let you finish training early. Without warning, they let loose an arrow, sending it hurtling across the space towards me. I dodge it with ease, hastily sending a shot back at Kadar, which has them scrambling to the side to avoid. You'll have to do better than that, Kadar says. You've got this, Kiki. Hey, whose side are you on? Not yours, clearly, Kadar says. I chuckle at the two of them, getting the impression that their relationship may be more than that of just friends. Oh? Is that tea that I'm hearing? Stealing my concentration, I raise my weapons. I'm ready to show Kadar that I can do this. As expected, Kadar lets loose his arrow first, the tip of it whistling through the air towards me. Using every ounce of skill I possess, I dodge, sending 2 shots directly at Kadar as he prepares his next arrow. Ah! Distracted, the attack makes contact with Kadar's shoulder, sending them to their knees with a shock of electricity. Ow! I'd been so distracted by making sure my shot found its target that I hadn't noticed Kadar let loose their second arrow until it collided with my leg. Feeling like I've been sucker punched directly in the thigh, I grab hold of the edge of the training ring to keep myself upright. Gods, Kadar wasn't wrong. That hurt like hell. Tommy laughs from the sidelines, clapping his hands slowly and thoroughly enjoying the show. Kadar and I each send him an unappreciative glare. That was brilliant. Can you do it again? Piss off, Tommy. Yeah, what they said. Tommy simply laughs as Kadar pushes himself to his feet, rubbing his shoulder with a wince as he turns to me. No hard feelings, right? You did good today. Really good. I'm not sure if good is enough to take on the likes of Ren. You're right, but Ren has years of combat experience. There aren't many of us who could stand alone against them in combat and survive it. Lucky for you, you won't be alone. As long as you stay on the defensive and trust your crew, you'll be just fine. He's right. Having allies you can trust in a battle will make all the difference. From what I've seen today, you're more than capable of defending yourself on the field. Don't take any unnecessary risks and you'll be okay. Thank you, both of you. I appreciate you taking the time to train with me. It's our pleasure. Alright, the three of us exit the ring together, exhausted, hurt, and in serious need of a night off. It's only now that I realize about a dozen spectators stand around the outside of the ring watching us and smiling, some giving me the thumbs up. I'm glad I hadn't noticed them earlier, to be honest. If I had, I think I would have lost all concentration. A soft clap on my back alerts me to Tommy, who gives me a small smile as he passes by. It was nice meeting you. I hope we'll see each other around. See you, Tommy. I hope so too. Tommy gives Kadar a nod before heading off, and I turn to the Kitalfan, who I see is still rubbing tenderly at his shoulder. Can I ask you something? Shoot. Did you grow up on Kitalfa? Kadar nods as they lead me over to a cooler full of water, tossing me a chilled bottle before taking one for themselves and twisting off the cap. Yeah, I did. My parents were aqua divers there, kind of like ocean farmers. What kind of things did they farm? Kelp mostly, but also shellfish and other ocean plants. Anything that could be sold as food. Uncapping the water, I take a long drink from the bottle. After the training session we've just had, it's exactly what I needed. They died when Kitalfa was destroyed. I was one of the few who was able to escape. I almost choked on my water, but I managed to compose myself enough to give him a sympathetic smile. Like Ayame and her brother. Yeah. But unlike them, I ended up on Orion. There was a family who took me in and treated me like one of their own. I'll never forget my parents, but I'm so lucky to have found my new family. They're actually the ones who inspired me to start helping other Kitalfans. I smile at him as he finishes his water, and I take the opportunity to down the rest of mine and set the empty bottle aside. Thank you again for doing this video tomorrow, by the way. All of us appreciate what you're doing. I just hope it helps, we say. It will. I know it will, Kadar says. I hesitate for a moment before asking the question that's been eating at the edges of my mind all day. Kadar, do you think that doing this video will put a target on my back? They give me a sad smile, the gesture made clear by the drop of their shoulders. I think the target's already there, Pegasi. Whether you do this or not, it won't change that. I think so too, because we already have exposed ourselves by working with the rebels and working with Narissa. So I don't think doing this video will necessarily change much, apart from maybe people recognizing us visually as well, like other people apart from the rebels and people on Telaran. But it's still not increasing the risk by that much. So I nod slowly. If I'm being honest with myself, I've been afraid to hear that. Hey, you'll be okay. There are a lot of people around here who care about you. We've got your back. Thanks, Kadar. For what it's worth, I've got your back too. With the last goodbye, I head off, desperately needing some time to myself. I suppose there's no avoiding it then. I head back to my room sore, tired, and ready to flop onto my bed, cozy up into the plush blankets and cushions I know are waiting for me, and get some much-needed sleep. I had hoped that June and I could spend some more time together, but I'm afraid I'd fall asleep before he even arrived at my door. Instead, I grabbed my holopad and sent him a quick message. Think I'm going to have an early night. I'm exhausted after today. I'm sorry. I press send, making sure to add a sad emoji at the end and get comfortable in my bed, my head sinking back into the many pillows. It's not long before a notification pops up. That's okay. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. That's okay, Kadar asked me and Rayona to meet them tonight and go over a few things. How was training today? It was good, we say. Hard work, but good. I bet you did great, smiley face. Oh, we can either do a normal reply or a flirty reply. I'm gonna do the flirty reply. Are you buttering me up because you want me to be my boyfriend? I thought I already was your boyfriend. At least it felt like I was last night. Wink. Damn. I guess that settles it then. Can I see you tomorrow? June asks. Definitely. Can't wait. Sweet dreams, XX. I say goodnight before making sure my holopad is on charge, and then I head to the bathroom to shower off the sweat from training. Afterwards, I put on some clean pajamas and slip into bed, my thoughts drifting to June as I fall asleep. Are they naughty thoughts? The next morning, I head back down the spire to the rebel camp on the ground floor. Nerissa had asked me to be there early, and I don't want to keep anyone waiting. I head into the tent, immediately seeing the leaders huddled together and talking quietly. They look up as I enter, each of them giving me a nod or a smile. And then I spot another familiar face. Hey, what are you doing here? I wanted to come by and show you some support. I thought you might be feeling nervous. You're right, I'm extremely nervous. June smiles softly as he puts an arm around me and draws me into a hug. I slide my arms around his waist, closing my eyes and taking a deep breath. What if I don't know what to say? Just be yourself and you'll know. I'll be right here with you. Someone clears their throat nearby, and when I open my eyes, I find Nerissa watching the two of us with an amused look. I pull myself away from June, regretting the loss of his warmth almost immediately. Time to go. June leans in to kiss me on the side of my face before he heads over to the side of the tent, giving me a smile that lets me know he's here if I need him. We need to talk, Nerissa says. Nerissa approaches me, her face grave. I suddenly get a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. What's wrong? You're going to be speaking live. Live? I thought we were only filming today. She sighs and nods her head, as I get the impression that was only a recent development. The leaders decided it would be better this way, me included. It will seem more natural if you speak to the people live. It could work to our advantage. Her face drops as she looks at me, seeing that I'm clearly rattled by the idea. I'm sorry to put you on the spot. If you would rather not do it... No, it's okay. I agreed to do this. I give her a nod, assuring her that it's okay. While I wasn't expecting it, and I certainly haven't prepared myself for it, it's not something I'm opposed to doing. Thank you. I can't tell you how grateful I am. Alright, we're ready. Just over here, Kiki. Kadar and Nerissa lead me over to a small circle that's been marked out on the ground. Half a dozen spotlights are pointing towards it, making the space unnaturally hot. It's time. Start with telling them who you are and go from there. Remember that this is a call to action. We need the people watching to join with us. Kadar holds up a white spherical object in his hand and points to a black circle in the center. This is the camera we'll be using. Keep your eyes on this spot here. The light will blink red once we're live. I nod, trying to remember the information while drying my sweaty palms on my sides. I thought that I was ready for this, but my nerves are kicking into overdrive. It's so hot in here. Good luck. We'll be here if you need us, Kyle says. I give each of them a tight smile before I take in a breath and stand in the middle of the marked spot. Ready? We're live in 3, 2, 1. Kadar releases the camera, which travels through the air like a drone and hovers in front of me, its red light blinking like a single eye. In an instant, I see myself projected on every screen around the tent, and my heart begins to hammer in my chest. My hands shake at my sides, my throat tightening uncomfortably. I look to Nerissa, who smiles at me with encouragement. Start with telling them who you are. Taking in a deep breath to steady myself, I keep Kadar's words in mind, and I begin to speak. My name is Kiki. I'm the youngest daughter of King Fenris and Queen Tajin, and one of 2 surviving Pegasi, along with my sister, Nerissa. I am speaking to you now from Tularan, where Nerissa and I, along with many others, have been given shelter and aid that we desperately needed after the attack on Goddess last month. Swallowing down my nerves, I force myself to keep my eyes on the camera, which sways slightly as it hovers in front of me. Just over a month ago, I had 9 more brothers and sisters. I had a mother and a father, a niece and a nephew. And now they're all gone, murdered by Jes Zovack and the Chimeri. Jes Zovack stole my father's throne. A throne that... Oh, we can say a throne that now belongs to my sister, or a throne that should be abolished. We've never even thought about this before. That's interesting. I'm gonna say it now belongs to my sister because I want her on my side. If I say that the throne should be abolished, it implies that we need to do like complete anarchy type of situation, which is not something that we are A, prepared for, or B, something that we have discussed with Nerissa previously. And I do think we should be loyal to Nerissa after all. She is our sister, not only that, but she can give her an opportunity for us to find our way in the world. So now belongs to my sister, the true queen of Celiota. A queen who I know will be fair and compassionate, a queen you can trust. I look at my sister as I speak, who smiles at me with such warmth that I feel it spread through my body and calm my nerves. Nerissa is someone who never hesitates to put others first, and as her heir, I can ensure it stays that way. You deserve a leader who listens to you, who loves you, as I know she does. I let out a long breath, hoping that my words hold enough power to get through to people, even if it's only a few. Zovack doesn't care what happens to you. All he cares about is his own power. I know this because I've seen it. I've seen the extent of his destruction in the people I've met, in the faces of my friends. My hands fall to my sides as I realize that while I can condemn Zovack all I want, the people watching have no way of knowing if I'm any better than he is. With a short sigh, I stare down at the camera's lens, determined to let the truth be seen. I know that many of you won't know who I am. You're probably wondering why you should trust me, and I don't blame you. I grew up like a shadow in the palace on Siltavi, a ghost who just wanted to be seen. You see me now, and I see you. You're not alone. We can say, I'm going to fight for our future, or together we can make a difference. I think the better wording here is together we can make a difference. We can craft the kind of future that we've always wanted. Before we do that, we have to fight. I hesitate a little, but when I look over at June, seeing the way he's smiling at me gives me the confidence to keep going. Someone close to me told me that we shine brighter together. All of us. Distance may divide us, but as long as we're fighting for the same thing, we are not alone. We have to fight. I'm afraid of what might happen if we don't. I glance at the screens around the room, at the woman reflected through them, who seems so confident despite the pounding of her heart. My heart. There are reports of the Chimeri doing awful things to keep hold of their power, hurting good people, destroying lives. Is that the kind of world you want to live in? We can say trust the Pegasi or fight for your freedom. I'm gonna say fight for your freedom, because that implies that people can join our cause and do something themselves instead of trusting someone who they previously distrusted. And I mean, the Pegasi, our father, was Pegasi as well. So, you deserve better. You deserve the freedom to live your life the way you want to. So fight for it. Join us. Fight back. Take a stand against Zovack. Protect Celiota with me, and I promise you a world that you can be proud to be a part of. The red light flickers on the camera suddenly before the screens around the tent go dark. Something's wrong. I look at Kadar as they step forward to grab the device, frowning down at it in their hands. What's happening? Suddenly the screens come to life again, this time with a chillingly familiar face, Zovack. How very touching. Zovack smiles into the camera and my stomach drops, plummeting to the floor at the sight of his smug grin. No, this can't be happening. Nerissa Pegasi on the throne, a carbon copy of her father before her. Let's be serious. Do not forget, dear citizens, the Pegasi are the reason I sit on the throne in the first place. I was compelled to take action, not just for myself, but for all of you who have suffered at their hands. In my world, each of you has equal opportunity to rise to the top. In the world of the Pegasi, Kitaufans without a home, everyday citizens working themselves to the bone simply to keep their children fed. He smiles, but something about it feels false, dangerous even. There's no doubt that we've managed to piss him off. My own little sister, Jovi, blinded by the glitz and glamour of Goris, could hardly wait to escape Curse and start a life on the Golden Planet. And what a life she made for herself. A life that, under the watchful eyes of the Pegasi, incurred debt so large she had no hope of paying them back. A life that ended, alone and forgotten, in some godforsaken mine on Orion. Worked to death. The fair rule of the Pegasi's line at its finest. As he speaks, his voice grows rough, grating, his anger present in every syllable. Let us not forget the greed, the taxes, the punishment for failing to hand over your hard-earned money to fuel their lifestyle of lavish lies. The pain in his voice cuts through me, and I'm rattled to the bones by the violence of it. I had no idea he had lost a sister this way. No idea at all. Zovack clears his throat and takes in a breath, setting right the crown on his head as he composes himself. Forgive me. Rest assured that these rebels will be dealt with soon enough. We know what you're planning, who you're scheming with, and when you plan to strike. Kiki and Nerissa, the last of the Pegasi. I don't intend to make any of this easy for you. So, he's doing something really stupid. In his previous broadcast, he claimed that we are imposters, that we're not real Pegasi, and now in this broadcast, because he's basically put into a bad position by us, he is now claiming, oh, they really are Pegasi. So he's not doing much good to his public image, I wouldn't say, because people will see those lies that he tried to lie to them at first. So, his yellow eyes bore into me through the camera. Telari eyes, I realized, the smile that once seemed charming now turned cruel. So he has Telari eyes and Kitalfan gills. And I'm guessing he's also part something else. I don't know. Maybe he's like a mixture of races. Take care until we meet. That last line sent a chill right through my bones, as if it was directed at me and only me. Are you okay? June asks. June is at my side in an instant, sliding a protective arm around me. Yeah, I'm alright. The lie comes easy, but I can hardly see the worry, but I can already see the worry in his eyes. Can we get back on air? No, we're locked out. Let's hope that Kiki's speech was enough. At least he's not calling us pretenders anymore. He seemed pretty pissed at what we were doing. Maybe that's a good thing. His true colors are starting to slip through. I turned to Nerissa, seeing the way her eyebrows dip in the middle, how her violet eyes burn with a silent rage. Did you know about his sister? Yes, but not until after the coup. You could have done something. You could have stopped our father. I tried, Kiki. He refused to listen. Why do you think I was plotting against him? I would never have done it under any ordinary circumstance. I grit my teeth and turn away from her. I know it's not her fault, not really. Do you want to leave? We can take a break. We should take a break. Good idea. I'll take care of things here. Go, catch your breath. We'll let you know if there are any updates. I don't say goodbye as I let June guide me to the elevator, silence surrounding us while I get stuck in my head and weighed down by my thoughts. Zovack had a sister. My father sent her to the mines on the run for her debts. Maybe not directly, but it was on his orders that people were being arrested and imprisoned. And Jovi Zovack had died there. I wonder if the story is even true about his sister, because he can be spinning these narratives all day if he wants to. I'm vaguely aware of June leading me as we step out of the elevator and wind through the corridors of the ISO spire, but it's only once we've stepped into my room that my head begins to clear. Hey, it's okay, you can take a breath. I turn to him as he speaks, taking in the concern on his face, and I nod, exhaling deeply. Sorry, all that back there with Zovack, it caught me off guard. You don't need to apologize. All that matters is that you're okay. Thanks for getting me out of there. I'm okay. Glad to hear it. Maybe we can spend the rest of the day together and relax a bit? It's our last day here after all. He holds out a hand and I take it with a soft smile. With everything that's been going on, I had hardly thought about leaving the planet tomorrow. I'm going to miss it. That sounds amazing. What do you want to do? No. What do you want to do? Well, there are a couple of things I've been wanting to pick up from the market. Maybe you could come with me? I'd love to, June says. June and I head to the market together where we spend the time trying on silly hats and eating different foods. He holds my hand while we explore the shops and stalls, and I manage to expel the breath I seemed to be holding ever since Zovack showed up on that screen. For the rest of the day, I plan to push it from my mind and enjoy this time with him. And everything else? Well, everything else I can deal with tomorrow. Tomorrow arrives much too quickly, and I wonder what's gonna happen tomorrow or today But I'm gonna have to end this episode here. But there will be more coming. We're gonna find out what happens on the next day. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below what you thought of this episode. And I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.